Pope Francis returned to the Vatican last night after a 3-day visit to Kazakhstan.
Questo non vuol dire che si approvi tutto che fa il governo.
On the flight back to Rome, the Holy Father told reporters that it is difficult to dialogue with those who started a war, but it must be done. Responding to a question about the situation in Germany, the Pope explained that the Church needs pastors and not pastoral plans. Joining us now from Rome is Rudolf Gehrig, EWTN Vatican journalist and producer. Rudolf, great to see you. Can you tell us about some of the Pope's comments on his way back to the Vatican?
Good evening, Tracy. In the press conference, the Pope spoke about the war in Ukraine, asked whether weapons should be supplied to Ukraine in the fight against Russia. The Holy Father said that it may well be immoral to supply someone with weapons if the intention behind it is to further fuel a war. There's always the possibility that with dialogues, things can change, the Pope said, and stressing, I do not exclude dialogue with any power, whether it is at war or whether it is the aggressor. He also announced that he would finally visit South Sudan and Congo in February and that he was considering a trip to Bahrain.
And Rudolf, as we know, the Pope was attending an interreligious summit in Kazakhstan. I understand the participants voted on a final declaration at the end of that meeting. What can you tell us about that?
Yes, with this statement, different religions, first of all, express their mutual respect to each other. Every religion has its own values that are worth protecting and so on. However, in these times when war is again raging in the middle of Europe, it is also a call for peace. They condemn military conflicts and emphasize that extremism, radicalism, terrorism have nothing to do with true religion and must be rejected in the strongest possible terms. And yet, there's also potential for conflict in this statement.
And I know there are some who are criticizing that as this statement. What are they saying?
Well, for example, there's a paragraph that says that the differences in religions are God's will. I think any Catholic theologian will certainly raise his eyebrows somewhat skeptically. Elsewhere, there's a paragraph in which signatories pledge to, I quote, abandon all aggressive and destructive rhetoric which leads to destabilization of the world. The all-important question is, who defines what aggressive rhetoric is? Politics, the state, an assembly of religious leaders? The Catholic Church could well find itself in a quandary in the future if its teachings are suddenly judged to be aggressive by states or other religious leaders.
And Rudolf, before we go, I'm curious, what was the highlight of this papal trip for you?
Yeah, thanks to EWTN, I had the honor of sitting on the same plane as the Pope, and I was allowed to ask him a question as a representative of the German journalist. I will never forget those minutes when we sat face to face and the Holy Father looked me in the eye almost continuously while he talked about the Church in Germany. At the end, the Pope said to me that I should read St. Augustine's commentary on shepherds to understand what bishops, not only in Germany, but also in the rest of the world, should be like. So now you know what I'm going to do tonight.
What an incredible experience. Rudolf, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today. We appreciate it. God bless you.